Hi muckers, welcome back to the circus. I hope you're doing very well. Thank you so much for giving me your ticket. Okay, this is not something I was expecting to have as a story to cover, but it involves MrBeast being exposed for being a horrible boss by one of his ex-friends, workmates, and for having a toxic work environment. And it has started, I mean, literal war online. There are two articles about this, with the person coming forward, which we'll get to. There is an Insider one and there is a New York Times one, isn't that right? Yes, New York Times. Taylor Lorenz wrote that one, and then the Insider one. And it became such a big story that the creators like Philip DeFranco are getting involved and they are defending MrBeast, and then the journalists are fighting back with MrBeast's behalf with Philip DeFranco, and it is just a mess. Now I don't know if you know who MrBeast is, but he's like one of the golden boys of YouTube right now. His channel is very wholesome, you know, he gives out a lot of money, he gives out a lot of cars, he has one of the better personas on YouTube right now. And anytime he gets involved in some sort of drama or we're talking about him, it's shocking to me, because the last time we did was he claimed a small business loan or something like that, whenever he's obviously not that. And Jeffree Star Cosmetics also did the same thing, and it was these people should not be doing this, but they did. That was the last time we talked about him. So now the fact that his videos are so focused on how great the work environment is, how great him and his friends are, it's interesting hearing one of them come forward and talk about it. But without further ado, by the way, this is MrBeast, if you don't know who he is, because I get that he's a different side of YouTube than the beauty gurus. So let's just see. The article says, by Taylor Lorenz, MrBeast YouTube star wants to take over the business world. So his name is Jimmy Donaldson. He's only 22 years old and he's out to become the Elon Musk of online creators. So it says, Jimmy Donaldson, 22, a YouTube megastar better known as MrBeast, operates 6 YouTube channels with names like MrBeast, MrBeast Shorts, and Beast Reacts that together have 91 million subscribers. People have viewed his videos more than 13 billion times, and last year as the pandemic raged, he became one of the most subscribed YouTube creators in history. So here we go. This is a quote from Mr. Anderson. Nothing ever worked for him. He's always wanted it a certain way. Mr. Anderson later uploaded to his YouTube channel a 10-minute video saying, "My experience editing for MrBeast, worst week of my life," which he said had brought death threats and hateful comments from MrBeast dedicated fans, many of whom who are children, to him for speaking out against MrBeast. Mr. Turner had a similar experience. "These kids don't know what they're saying," he said. "They're just in this cult of YouTube stardom where they don't want to see the biggest creator fall." Now we can apply that to everything we're seeing with Jeffree, with Shane, with Tana, with David, with all of these, that it is a child audience that don't want to, have to say anything negative or hear anything negative about their favorite person. Akash Rathod, who is 20, a sophomore in college and a MrBeast fan, said he was troubled by Mr. Donaldson's silence on an online mob attack that happened. "There needs to be more from MrBeast on the issues his fans are causing," he said. "It's not enough to just make positive videos," implying that you need to be interactive whenever your fans are, involving in attacking other people because they just want to defend you. So then we go on and we have this. So they cover the allegations that he was involved in an alleged crypto scam, Refinable. Now, there are multiple different sections of this MrBeast story, so this one is kind of like a subgenre, as well as old homophobic and racist comments allegedly made by MrBeast. Now, I'm too pretty to understand cryptocurrency, I'm too gorgeous to understand Bitcoin, I'm too fabulous to understand Dogecoin and all these things that they're all pushing, so I can't really give any comment on that, but I will read this and then we're going to get to the person's video speaking against MrBeast. It's a lot. Okay, so last month Mr. Donaldson also faced backlash from fans who lost significant amounts of They lost their mothers. MrBeast is horrible. They lost significant amounts of money on a cryptocurrency scheme he had promoted and invested in, which we're seeing MrBeast do a lot, and even I don't understand it, but he's pushing it so much. And he is trying to maintain rapid growth on a notoriously fickle platform. I don't understand cryptocurrency, but we're just gonna go with it. How he does and how his companies perform will be scrutinized to see whether creators can, parlay their social media success into a sustainable business. Mr. Donaldson declined to be interviewed. A representative for him declined to address the working conditions of his companies, but said of the videos with offensive content. When Jimmy was a teenager and was first starting out, he carelessly used, on more than one occasion, a gay slur. Jimmy knows there is no excuse for homophobic, actions. The representative added that Mr. Donaldson has grown up and matured into someone that doesn't speak like that. And so the full thing is that, we want to hear it from him rather than a representative. Mr. Turner, who did not grow up with Mr. Donaldson, said that while the boss, MrBeast, this is they're Mr. like real names is throwing me off. So the person who's speaking against the working with MrBeast said that his boss regularly featured his hometown friends in videos, and he had struggled to get any acknowledgement while they were always shown. I was not to be credited for anything that I ever did for him, Mr. Turner said, who is the worker. I'd ask for credit, but he would literally just credit someone else. Nate Anderson, who is 22, who moved to Greenville to work for MrBeast, in March 2018 quit after a week over he said that there were unreasonable demands. He said that MrBeast was a perfectionist. So then we go on and there is more. So Insider also did an article and it says, former employees of YouTuber MrBeast alleged that the star created a work toxic I am struggling. A work toxic environment? A toxic work environment. Would you believe that I actually got an amazing result in my English GCSE exam? Probably not. Let me start again. That MrBeast created, allegedly, a toxic work environment, berating and belittling staff. So let's just read what this has to say. Matt Turner, an editor for Donaldson from 2018 to 2019, told the New York Times that he, had the content creator, coming for him every day, and he had berated him almost every day and called him a phrase used to insult people with mental disabilities, leaving him in tears on multiple occasions. Turner also said that he wasn't credited for any of the work that he did, and when he would ask for it, again, MrBeast would just credit someone else. Turner had spoken up about his time editing for MrBeast prior, posting a 2018 video explaining the allegations and writing on a new deleted Twitter thread in October 2019 that he was yelled at, bullied, called mentally R-worded, and replaceable by MrBeast every single day. Turner also released a now deleted YouTube video in 2019 sharing a story that Donaldson deleted the project file for a video he was editing because a compilation of clips did not equal $500,000 for the title of the video because MrBeast content is all about like a certain amount of money. So here we go. So MrBeast former editor Matt Turner describes job in a 2019 video. Matt says it was a dream job and if you have the opportunity to take it, take it. And this is after Matt recently told the New York Times that MrBeast berated him. So this is the clip. It is what we are going to be watching. Whoa! Why did I just kick my camera? I kicked you. Sorry, you're the camera. I'm so sorry. So let's watch this video that is now doing the rounds before we get to like Philip DeFranco getting involved and all like them. Pick your head up, princess, your tiara is falling. So let's hear this. This is Matt Turner.
It wasn't an easy decision, although it wasn't my decision. I don't know. I think it was mutual. This was a dream job for so long, and when I got it, I was so happy I got it. And the job is still an amazing job. If you have the opportunity to get this job that I had, totally take it. It's a lot of fun. It was basically just like a friendship, and going to work was a blast each and every day. So they sat me down at a table, and it was MrBeast and the manager, and then me. So basically, just like them two on one side, me on another side. They basically just said, "Hey, man. I know this is kind of random. Realize that you aren't long-term in this, because I was planning on either moving to Los Angeles, backpacking across Asia, which I'm going to do, or go to college in the fall. I just said, we really just want people who are going to be in here for the long term. And you have other aspirations, we can see that, and we know that's what you should be focusing on."
So he continued to praise MrBeast and said the decision was mutual.
They admired like my work ethic, everything was good about what I did, and I really didn't do anything wrong. It was just that they wanted people who would be there for the long run. It was basically mutual. They asked me, "Are you still gonna do this?" And I was like, "Yes." And they're like, "All right, but this is what we're gonna say. We're gonna say you're gonna be let go if you answer yes." And I was like, "Yes." You know what I'm saying?
He also reveals that MrBeast offered to let him stay in his home free as long as he needed.
MrBeast paid for my rent every month when I lived in North Carolina, and he said, all right, you can live here as long as you want. You can literally stay in this like pretty expensive apartment just until you feel comfortable leaving. Don't feel like you're in a rush. Stay as long as you want. Stay for months if you want to. It doesn't matter to us. They're still paying me right now. I'm still technically working. I'm not going to give like any numbers or anything. They said we're still going to pay you for a while, and that is basically funding my trip to backpack across Asia. He's saying, you don't have to work for me, but I'll still pay you. And because of that, I hope that lets you live in LA, go to college, backpack Asia. Whatever you want to do after this, I want to set you up for that. And that's so insane. If you're watching this, MrBeast, I love you, bro. So not only does he...
Okay. I guess I'm just like confused. I mean, of course you can like recall things and remember new things years on. I personally, reading the 2 articles, seeing this clip, does the clip in my opinion cancel out the articles? Yeah, kinda. And I don't mean this to take away from the amazing work of Taylor Lorenz or the Insider journalist who, what was their name again? Stephen Asrach. I don't mean that because obviously you're covering things and you both did an amazing job on that. And you're, you know, recalling the story as he's telling you. But with that clip, it kind of leaves every option of, you know, he's remembering things differently or whatever, like null, in my opinion. I don't know, it's just very weird. So then there was an argument that happened between Philip DeFranco and Taylor Lorenz, who wrote the New York Times article. So Taylor Lorenz said, at Philip DeFranco, this video is frustrating after he covered the story, and wrong. Turner is not the main person speaking out. As the story says, this report was based on the interviews with 11 former employees and business associates of MrBeast, which you fail to mention. Then it goes on. Calling my reporting a hit piece when you ignore the reporting mentioned in the actual story and misrepresent the claims is dishonest and rude. If you have questions about my stories or reporting process, my DMs are open and I'm always happy to have a conversation. And then Philip DeFranco goes on and quotes it and says, Taylor, just be honest, you made a thinly veiled hit piece on MrBeast so you could still get the outrage clicks while still making it like that wasn't the whole point of your article, so YouTubers would still trust talking with you. And then it goes on. So Taylor says, this is a gross misrepresentation to see a big creator who, you know, purports to support journalism. 11 former workers from MrBeast spoke out about my piece. Phil calling those workers liars says it all. Big creators like Phil don't want to take accountability in the industry. You know, that's a fair point. Taylor said, read my story and judge for yourself. It's a fair, you know, comprehensive... Can we stop with these big words? Taylor, you know I love you. I have the academic ability of a child. So, that's on me. I 100% get it. And I love you. But I'm gonna need these tweets dumbed down a bit. Please. Of MrBeast, who takes, you know, the good for the bad. I spoke to nearly 30 people for this piece, including 11 former employees and business associates of MrBeast, and fact-checked their claims. Big creators like Philip DeFranco bash the claims of workers in the creator economy to protect fellow powerful big creators because they want themselves, you know, to retain power. They don't want accountability. Case in this point, you know, are calling it a hit piece. Here's the thing. Here's my summary of it. Taylor Lorenz's article is so good, and it details so many of the workers. However, unfortunately, in stuff like this, whenever there is at least one focused who's speaking up about the really bad experience, and then there is such a strong, like, video that's, like, debunking that from themselves, people are focusing on that. That does not take away from the fact that there are so many people in this article who are speaking up about the fact that there is a toxic work environment with MrBeast. Does it mean that this one person, though, this one individual, is less credible? In my opinion, yes. It doesn't mean it for the rest of them. One person's experience is not the equivalent of 30, of 11, you know what I mean? In terms of Philip DeFranco and Taylor fighting, Philip DeFranco is just protecting another big YouTuber. And of course, that's what he's gonna focus on, the one that, you know, is seemingly not telling the truth, allegedly. That's what Philip DeFranco will do. He's a big creator and he wants to, you know, keep the economy of his friends good. He's friends with he's friends with other big creators and they don't want to speak up against each other because, you know, they go to parties together, they go drinking together, they need each other. And so that's why Philip DeFranco will go so hard on the article now that he has this one thing he can, you know, debunk. In terms of the rest of the article, I'm going to link it below. You should really read it if you want. Really good points in that. Again, it's a shame that this one person, you know what I mean? But is it out of the question that a YouTuber like MrBeast is incredibly toxic in the work environment whenever he's pushing out them videos and, you know, expect it? No, it's not. Of course it happens. It doesn't make it okay, but people shouldn't be not willing to have a conversation or at least look into it whenever these people have been fact-checked and, you know, interviewed like that. Because, you know what I mean? Like, you get it, mucker. So let me know what your opinion is. I love you. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay gorgeous. And oh, here's your, sorry, I'm just getting your, oh no, did I give it? No, I take it from you. Oh, I should have gave you the ticket as opposed to, for the circus, of course. I love you. I hope you're doing really well. And have a great day. Let me know what your opinion is about this. Very messy. Very messy. Okay, bye. Mwah.